if I can have your attention for a few moments, it falls on me to present to you two excellent Bermuda football teams. These two teams represented our country well. More importantly than that, they represented you, the family members, very well as well. We have the under-16 team that were victorious and won the trophy. I actually put your hands together for them. And while the under-14 teams did not come back with the trophy, we want to put our hands together because they did very well as well. We're very proud of them also. I'd also like to ask you to put your hands together for the tactical staff, the coaching staff that went with them and took. And now, I know that you all put up with a lot. You came out early. You've been there all the time. Players, can you put your hands together, please, for your parents, please, and give them a good round of applause. We know that through football and really any sport, that football can develop lives. And it can turn all of our people into productive citizens, especially at a time when we know that there are young people out there doing a lot of other things. These guys have committed themselves to excellence on the field, and from what I understand, also off the field. The minister was not able to make it this evening, but we are pleased that a member of Parliament, or the Senate, has been able to come to say a few words as well. So for a shadow representative of sports, we'd ask Mr. Senator Rabin to say a few words.
What can we say? Look, take a look at these guys. Come on, give them a round of applause. Louder, come on now. You know, every time I come down here to greet one of our sports teams coming back, I'm just blown away when I see these young men of yours that are out there doing great things and using sport to better themselves, to better their minds, and to make Bermuda a better place. Soccer is a sport that teaches teamwork, it teaches camaraderie, it also teaches conflict resolution as well. And when we see these young men go off and they come back victorious, you parents, you have to be proud of them. You have to look at them and say, look at these fine young men that I have raised. My hat's off to the BFA for putting on these competitions and getting our young men interested in playing soccer and getting out there and doing well. And I'm not going to take up any more time because the night belongs to these guys right here. Right here.
Can we have the two captains come forward, please? Okay. Please, you feel free to say a few words, okay? It's fine. And you please show. Huh? Give everybody a show.
All right.
Go.
Fuck, man, I don't want to talk. All right, I want to thank all the parents for helping the players get here, and BFE for like putting all this together and giving us the experience to play a league outside of Bermuda. And that's it for me.
I just want to thank the parents, coaches, the committee of BFA and the coaches mostly for preparing the under-14s for our first Open Cup, and let's hopefully we be successful next year.
I'd like to say that the tournament was successful. We had good opposition, but we just came out victorious and won the tournament for the under-16s.
We would actually a member of the coaching staff to come forward to say a few words to tell you all how excellent your guys were and how perfect angels they were when they were overseas.
Even though these trips are wonderful for many reasons. I mean, it's great that the kids performed well, and you know the under-16s won the tournament. But the main thing about these type of tournaments is that to get these guys ready for what we're calling a travel behavior as an athlete. And I think we have to give the boys another round of applause because their behavior on this trip was first class. We had no issues with the boys when it comes to their behavior. And the other thing that makes these trips so wonderful is that we get to put these boys in the shop window. You know, we visited a few schools, we visited boarding schools, and it plants seeds in the boys' mind what this game can actually do for them. So those things are actually important to go with the winning. But we also have to remember this is just a first step. As a country in football, we're a young country, and we have a long way to go in our football. So we just have to keep behind these boys, keep them positive, and keep them going. Okay? Thank you.
Mark, you want to say a few words? And then we'll have one parent come forward.
Good evening, everybody. It's actually pleasing to know that these trips are about other things. I'm glad that the boys have continued one of Bermuda's traditions in that the behavior has always been top class. Every team that's left Bermuda, whether it be youth or senior, their behavior has always been complemented by people who come into contact with them, and I'm glad to hear that they have continued that. What's also important is that this is just one more step in their development. And while we might enjoy this occasion, there's other things going forward. There's the under-17 World Cup qualifiers that some of these boys will participate in this year. And they need to step their game up and go up another level. They will also be competing in Mexico against some of the top under-17 teams in the world. So they have a real few hurdles ahead of them. This is one step. Enjoy it. But I'm sure the work continues next week. I'm sure the coaches haven't given that much time off. Okay? So with that, thank you very much, parents. Do we have a volunteer that's going to come up here and speak as a parent?
On behalf of all of the parents, we'd like to thank the coaching staff and the staff of BFA for everything they've done for our children. This was really exciting for us because this time we actually had a chat room with all of the parents. And so when the children were at the game, we were able to know exactly what was going on every minute, every second. Some of us were trying to get a little too much information. But you know what? It was our children that were out there. It was a little nerve-wracking for me. It's my son's first time ever traveling without us. But I have to admit, no, but really, I think they did a phenomenal job of keeping the parents informed. And honestly, for any parent, that's the main thing. You want to be kept informed about what your child is doing. You know what I mean? So we really appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts. Boys, you already know your parents are proud of you. All right? Thank you for doing such a good job and representing your country well. And leave those girls alone because I saw those pictures.